fancy transition. Whoosh. There we go. I need to fix it, guys. Don't worry. I've got to drop the bit rate massively down on that so that it looks even better. I will get it down super, super fancy, super clean, super nice. But no ban from Crepes this time around, as Fortnite Pwn says, you know what? I feel so confident. I don't even need to worry about banning anybody. And looks like Straight Jacket is playing the smart route, which is banning away Reeves and Nivea. Because Reeves has played a lot on the stream, and if you hang out on the stream, you get to learn people's strengths and which heroes they're really good at, such as Win Carnation's Alistar.
What's a hero?
A champion. I was thinking Hero of the Storm. I'm sorry, getting my heroes confused. So.
All right. There's the Irelia gone. Probably a good ban given last game. What happened there?
Exactly. Jack's banned away as well, but from Straight Jacket taking him off. He's a great split pusher as well as good at team fights, but more about the split pushing. His late game tower destruction is almost on par with Nasus's, though that's something interesting is with the changes on tanks really falling out of the meta. Very few people play tanks these days anymore. I mean, where did Maokai go? Nasus has disappeared for months. I haven't seen a Nasus in game in ages, but I'm kind of happy about that. So.
Oh, I'm perfectly happy about that. I play top lane. I don't like having a Nasus in my lane.
Before we get too much further, for those of you who are new, I know that people who've been here 1,000 times have heard it 1,000 times, but this is XLNC Shoutcasting. This is not Wraith. It is actually XLNC Salic that is going to be casting with us, as Wraith is currently studying for his finals. This is the last week of school for him. So we're giving it over to this awesome dude who not only that, but provided us with the footage for our Why No One Casts series earlier tonight, which was pretty darn funny. I enjoyed casting that. I don't know. What did, just really quick, give me your thoughts on Why No One Casts. And was that entertaining?
It was. I enjoy it. I especially enjoyed that you spiced up the fact that it was Civilization, and nothing happens in the first 10 minutes of Civilization, so you spiced it up by cutting to Minesweeper and. Was it just Minesweeper and Pinball, I think?
It was just Minesweeper and Pinball, but the fact that Pinball, Windows 7 Pinball, or it might have even been XP's.
It was XP.
Windows XP Pinball was more Shoutcast entertaining worthy than Civilization 6 tells you something about casting Civilization 6. It was a rough time. But Fort Pwns picking up Ziggs is pretty awesome this game. Very rarely played, definitely on meta, as Straight Jack is going to pick up the super strong, I don't even care how many times it tries to get nerfed, Scion for most likely either support or the top lane. But he can be played all over the map because he's just so darn strong, as Troublemaker gets to play Yasuo. Second time we've seen him tonight on a different player. Pretty darn exciting.
And they still got 3 picks left, so they can get a couple more knockups to set it up. You've got the Scion knockups already, but I'm curious to see how much more they go for. And Aatrox coming in, 14 Crepes. I haven't seen an Aatrox in ages. They gave him that small numbers buff at the beginning of the year just to make him at least somewhat plausible. I'm looking forward to that rework they're doing with him, though. I've played him a lot when he first came out. So I'm very excited to see what they do, and then I'm very excited to see what Supercell does with him in this game.
Okay, and we have a little bit of a grudge match now because No Free Names has picked up the Ezreal for the ADC role for Out of Mana, which he probably will be for at least some portion of the game. But we'll have to see if No Free Names can be even close to on par with the Ezreal we saw last game that was absolutely devastating. It also depends on who the support is with that Ezreal, whereas Team Crepes actually gets an opportunity to ban 2 support champions, take out that Alistar, or take out maybe the Morgana, somebody that they know is going to combine really well with Ezreal. There you go, a Braum ban away. So you can see as people are starting to narrow some of these pick pools for the second half. Now, we do have a most likely mid lane and bottom lane support role as ADCs are being pinched from Out of Mana. Who do you think combines well with Thresh on the ADC route? Because it's probably going to be the last pick, Lord Reeves picking that one up.
You know, knowing Reeves, from what I've seen, he doesn't particularly like playing the ADC, but I don't think I've even seen him play on ADC. Normally when I'm on a Thresh, my ADC will lean towards a hyper carry, something that if I land a hook and get some of my CC going, they can get started with that. Based on their damage makeup right now, I would put it something probably the effect of a Vayne, maybe see a Kog'Maw come through. I'm really not entirely sure what to expect out of them.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe even potentially a Jhin that can set up pretty nicely with the Thresh, but it is actually going to be a Tristana. Okay, I'm cool with that. You know, I was going to say somebody that has really fast attack speed that can auto-attack a handful of times, because with Thresh, usually you get the hook, the flay, and then that's it, and you kind of back out. And you give that just that kind of window of time for your ADC to pile on as much damage as possible on their AD carry and then back away. And so with this Tristana, she's going to be able to toss the grenade down, proc her attack speed buff, attack a bunch of times, and then back away before it explodes. Now, looking like it might be a Scion support as Jinkitos picks up the Teemo. What? That's the second time around. Last Saturday, we had a Teemo. This time, game number 2, Jinkitos picks up the Teemo. We'll have to see how that fares against the more than likely Aatrox in the top lane. Before we get too crazy on this, let's go ahead and roll through the players and their champions real fast. For Team Crepes, who didn't care about banning a champion at the beginning of the game, it's going to be Fort Pones. Welcome to the stream. Picking up that mid lane Ziggs without Ignite, going Exhaust, which is very interesting. We'll talk about that later. The Lord picking up Thresh for the bottom lane support role. Supercell, welcome to the stream. Taking Aatrox in the top lane. Blade Work, welcome back once again. Tristana, bottom lane AD carry role. And Lord Reeves in the jungle as Gragas, who rarely gets played, but I've heard recently is starting to get picked up a little bit more often. Give it over for Out of Mana.
All right, so who's going to be out of mana this game? Scion is going to be out of mana in that support role. Straightjacket is going to be bringing that down there. We got Troublemaker Ku on the Yasuo, probably in the mid lane. Ezreal in the ADC role with Lee Sin on Kalanmagren. I really need to learn how to pronounce his name. On Lee Sin in the jungle with Teemo, played by Jinkitos, up in the top lane, up against that Aatrox.
I think we should just call him Magren, because that's kind of cool. It's just Magren. It's kind of like the MacGyver, but the Magren.
See, I was leaning towards Cowlin.
Cowlin?
Cowlin, yeah.
I'm calling him all sorts of names because I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, so getting into this game, Ziggs with Exhaust against more than likely Yasuo in the mid lane, especially considering how much AD is coming out of mana, which is pretty funny considering that you usually are playing AP champions when you're going to be out of mana. I'm not against this Exhaust, and it's not going to give him as much initial damage, obviously, without the Ignite, but it is so good when it's playing safe, especially against gap closers such as the Yasuo, the Lee Sin, even a Scion Unstoppable Onslaught charge. He can throw down an Exhaust to decrease their damage before using his Blast Satchel to get out of harm's way. So I'm not really against it, even though normally speaking as a mid laner, you'd want to take that Ignite.
Well, and I'm all in favor of that Exhaust on Ziggs, simply because of the fact, like you said, you can reduce the damage coming out of the Yasuo if he does manage to get on you. Ziggs is, in my opinion, Ziggs falls under the category similar to Xerath, where he's an artillery champion. He focuses more on staying as far back as he can while using his abilities to do what he can from there. And if he's staying at that max range, he doesn't really need that Ignite because he's not in range to use it anyways.
Good point.
So I like the idea of having the Exhaust on him so that if Yasuo tries to use those gap closers to get on him, he can exhaust him and force Yasuo to either back out or lose the trade.
All right, so for in the top lane, there's a lot of discussion going on in the chat, which I absolutely love. You guys kind of discussing it out. The Teemo versus the Aatrox. Teemo's obviously got some great poke, especially if he builds towards that on-hit build, getting that Sheen, maybe even a Lich Bane, as well as having that AP for the slow bleed of his poison. But against Aatrox, who's got that really fast gap closer as well as knockup, and so much soft CC with his slow of his Q, which I totally don't know any of his abilities names because nobody plays Aatrox. Salek, what do you think? Aatrox versus Teemo, who wins out?
So it depends on how well Jinkitos uses his blind. If Supercell can bait out the blind, force Jinkitos to use it prior to him using his Dark Flight, which is his knockup, and his on the Converging Blades, I do forget what that one's called. But if Supercell can bait that out, and then after the blind goes up, get the knockup and get the slow, Aatrox can win this lane pretty handily. It really depends more though on how Jinkitos plays over how well Supercell plays.
Indeed. So as we are getting into game, this is game number 2. We are going to be going to 3 games. Now I'm going to take a minute here to discuss, and then I'm actually going to create a poll on the stream of whether or not we do a crazy game for the last game. Usually it's something that we limit either items or we limit champions, or we try to kind of just change up the gameplay a little bit for game number 3, make things a little more unique. We did one time where it was all 80 damage. We did one time where it was nothing but, or you couldn't build, I believe it was boots, or everyone built support items. I don't know. We just kind of changed up the game a lot. If I'm going to create a poll, it is going to be on the stream, lower right hand corner. There's going to be a little icon that shows up so that you can vote in that. We'll have that up for this entire game. And let us know whether or not you want to play a crazy game 3 or just a plain old normal game 3. The Firefighter Tristana and Gragas Esquire combined look really good together.
I mean, anything looks good with Gragas Esquire. It's Gragas Esquire.
This is true. Maybe I should cosplay him. I didn't even have time to switch over to the loading screen because we're already into game. I'll finish making the poll now, but actually, I'll do it after moving everybody into their correct positions. As we are getting into game number 2, I really am excited to see what a new Lee Sin, Callan, can do, especially against a Gragas, who is just so good at making those team fight engages, because he's got a lot of opportunity for repositioning the enemy team, the small stun/knock-up of his body slam. And it looks like, as per usual, we are going to get a classical Lord Reeves invade, but they're making a very unique route.
They're going in through that brush there. I've done this with Reeves before. The cycles around the brush to the outside here so that they don't quite have vision on them until the last possible second. So now you see...
Oh, the flash forward body slam on a straight jacket, just poking him down a little bit. He did not use the smite just yet. Ezreal hopping over the wall. He did use flash to force out the flash, but a nice knock-up on a straight jacket again is going to continue to try to get some damage. There's another body slam as well. The thresh hooks, and that's a huge number of spells used, but first blood given over. Now Lord Reeves potentially in trouble. Sion needs only 1 or 2 more auto attacks to finish him off, but he will be cleaned up. Lots of damage done, and that's 1, 2, 3 flashes burned. But Team Crepes secures first blood and a little bit of breakfast.
And it's worth noting, No Free Names also had to blow his flash there. He accidentally pathed himself into the dragon pit to get away from everybody. He had to flash over the wall into Tribrush in order to get away. So No Free Names is flashless on the bot lane, as is Blue Team's entire bot side. So that's something worth noting, and maybe something Callan can capitalize on early in the game.
We'll have to see how that goes down, but with a little bit of extra gold and that kill going over to the Tristana, that's a really, really big deal for the Tristana, because it just sets her up at a good advantage in her own lane, especially picking up those refillable pots. It means that she's going to not have to spend nearly as much gold as she otherwise might buying potions when she heads towards that bot lane, because she was able to pick it. And out of all the players on the team, she's probably one of the best ones to put that initial, initial first blood kill onto an extra gold. So very nicely done from Crepes to make sure that the Tristana is the one who picks it up.
And another thing that I noted as soon as they were coming out of base is that Jinky Toast is feeling very confident on this Teemo in the top lane. Took Dark Seal.
Getting a little bit of extra AP damage up there. We'll see how that poison damage does go down, using that blinding dart just for the initial poke. And oh, a really good hook from Lord. Pulls No Free Names down to half health already, as Blade Work going to get some really good damage. Now, the Ezreal does have potions, so he will be able to heal up, but good initial hook from the Thresh makes him feel a little confident, and is always exciting to see if he can pull those off again.
Well, and that burns Ezreal through all of his potions, too. So now he is flashless and potless.
Getting definitely in the danger zone. Straight Jacket does have Ignite available if he wants to go in, but knocked down to half health by that Tristana, just continuing to poke away, means that Crepes is still continuing to stack up advantages in that bottom lane, even though Tristana's farm isn't quite up. Supercell in the top lane, very low, where Lord Reeves comes up here as well. Can they get one last hit? Lord Reeves smashes a barrel over the top of Teemo's head, and Jinky Toast goes down as Aatrox at the last second had his passive able to be procced and didn't go down. So some beautiful play play there. A little bit different than a Zac, but now Callan is going to find out Lord Reeves, gets a little bit of damage, jumps to the ward, and they're just going to poke away. He does have an advantage of the red buff, so he does have the slows, but Ziggs is here, forcing the flash out of the Lee Sin. Lord Reeves kind of starting to chase in, does have blue buff. Lee Sin goes right back in. One more auto attack will do it. The body slam, the barrel. Aatrox comes in from the side. Troublemaker here, ignites for the kill, tries to go in the bottom lane. Tristana able to finish off the Scion. We didn't get the initial engage on. We'll have to wait until one day I'll have instant replays, don't you worry. But Straight Jacket taken out more than likely due to a nice hook from Lord. He's gonna grab another one. This guy is insane. The Lord of the Hooks is what's going on. His blade work needs one more auto attack, and no free names falls. 5 kills over to Team Crepes. Breakfast is on the menu, and Out of Mana just got served.
Yeah, served is right. That invade went so poorly for Callan. He sat there in that brush waiting, and Crepes just did a much better job of collapsing on that. I mean, you have to take into account when you're sitting in that brush that the opponent's mid laner is going to collapse faster than yours. And then your top laner is dead, so you don't have a team to collapse with you. So Troublemaker launching that tornado, not getting hit in anything there. Jinky Toast is doing a good job of keeping Supercell off the farm at least. A 9 CS lead for Jinky Toast. And he does have the Corrupting Potion now.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was Supercell moving around into the jungle, so I believe there was at least one wave that crashed into the turret, but good farming overall by Teemo. Sometimes it can be very difficult because of that passive poison stacking, very hard to time it right so that you are able to pick up those minions, but getting some good poke down. Supercell does have the double buffs, so there is some potential for going in on an engage, but again, that blinding dart can kill off a lot of the initial engage. There he is, blinded up, so going to decrease the damage as the Lee Sin going to come around the side, throws out, Sonic Wave just hits the canyon. He just wanted to guarantee that, the Canyon Mania was going to fall and help his team to get some of that gold. But the engage, the flash for the flay. Reeves is here as well. The hook misses. Lord misses a hook. Doesn't matter, though. They're still going to get the kill onto the Ezreal. Scion in trouble now. Smiter for the slow straight. Jacket Flay back into the team. Lord Reeves going to slam him with another barrel and take him out as well. Gets the slow, and Blade Work just wants a little extra damage on the stats, I guess. And we'll be finishing that one off. So now the Tristana 4-0-1. We tried to balance these teams. Right now it's looking anything but as Team Crepes continues to stack all of their gold on this Tristana.
Oh, and here goes... There's Callan waiting. However, Supercell has the passive back up here, so he's actually going to take this 2v1.
Oh, beautiful play from Supercell. Has the passive, got those extra auto attack speed, massive damage, finished off the Teemo. Lee Sin realizes he's not going to be able to kill off the Aatrox. Even if he gets Aatrox low enough health, his passive is just going to be stacked up. Can the Lord... stop making me feel bad for being support, because he's making me feel bad for not being able to play like that as support.
It's okay. We all miss skill shots.
It's kind of ridiculous, so. But Supercell picking up a double kill in the top lane. One of the nice things is that even though he is losing farm, he's actually even in farm right now in the Teemo. He's 3-0-2, so has potential carry status on a team that already has the 4-0-1 Tristana.
Yeah, it's looking like Crepes is walking all over. I'm looking for some way that the Out of Mana can get back into this. And the main thing I'm seeing is their Yasuo is at least doing something here in the mid lane.
Oh yeah,
and he's gonna be able to get that kill with the ignite there.
Can Yasuo steamroll and snowball the game into a winning for his team? That's the question now. 2-0-1, almost double the farm of the Ziggs, doing very well for himself, but he's going to have to start creating that over into wins on the side lanes, because the bottom lane has had such a rough time, and in the top lane, the Aatrox has so far been unkillable. But as it is for the moment, he's just going to continue to try to stack up his own strength, his own power, and eventually maybe take that over. It is an Ocean Drake start, so a little bit less exciting than the last game with all of the Infernals. We had triple Infernals at the very beginning of the game, but that would be nice for Out of Mana in case they get into any long engages.
I'll tell you what, if I were Out of Mana, I'm looking to secure this Drake immediately to help the lanes that haven't been able to hold their own. If you can secure that Ocean Drake and regen some of their health, regen some of their mana, that will help go a long ways towards keeping them sturdy. And I'm sorry, I think I said Team Crepes instead of Team Out of Mana.
Oh, another nice hook, but that's onto the Scion this time around. Straight Jacket, not super tanky, though. The grenade going to clean him up. Thresh decides, you know what, I'll take one of those kills for myself. You've gotten all the rest, Tristana. Let me have one. And Straight Jacket's just going to punch some minions to death before he disappears in a groaning bubble of exploding body parts. I'm not exactly...
I mean, he's a robot, so it's not really body parts, but...
pieces. Okay. Lee Sin, Callum coming around the side, but it is a 2v2 situation. Reeves coming around from behind. Sonic Wave not going to land. Tristana grabbing that dark passage to get out, but now Reeves coming from behind.
Use the ward jump.
Nice ward hop gets him out, but Yasuo comes down as well. So a lot of movement, but no real engages just yet, as Troublemaker going to head back towards that mid lane.
Well, like you said, a lot of movement, but no capitalization coming out of Out of Mana. I'm wondering what they're going to be able to... Another hook.
Yep, in the meantime, Fortnite Pones may be going down here. One more auto attack from Trouble. The movement speed from Ziggs is a little too short. Even though he has boots and Yasuo doesn't, his passive speed is just going to be able to allow him to catch up. Oh, he has actually tier 2 boots. What am I talking about? No wonder he's faster. He's already got tier 2 boots in the game. So 3-0. The saving grace for Out of Mana needs to just continue doing that. If you could take mid lane turret as well, that would be great. No one rushing onto the Drake at this point. So in the bottom lane, say that you are this Ezreal with the support Scion. What can you do to stem the tide that is the 4-0 and 2 Tristana?
I mean, the best thing you can do is just use your Mystic Shot. Poke from a long range as long as you can. That Mystic Shot does still outrange even a Tristana. So you do have the potential to just at least poke her out.
So try to poke down the Tristana, force her without any heals to back up and play safer underneath her turret. As Lee Sin gonna come up here. Oh, Sonic Wave going to miss, as well as the Dragon Kick going to kick Cell backwards down the river. Not the direction that he wanted him to go, but maybe it was secretly the direction as Reeves was coming up here into the top lane. So now it's a 2v2. The barrel from Reeves not going to land, just kind of knocks Lee Sin to the side. Doesn't push the Teemo forward as Jinky Toes just wisely knew the range on that. Sonic Wave does land. Is it Lee Syndrome? Oh! Baiting out a spell. The Dark Wings from Supercell.
I will say this, that was really well played by Supercell. He dodged out the Sonic Wave with the Dark Wings.
As well as repositioned himself from the Dragon Rage kick.
Yep, immediately popped his ultimate so that he could follow up on any potential re-engages from the Lee Sin.
Oh, Scion gets some good slow. However, he may be going down here again. Maybe this is what you want to see, though, because now that he has got his zombie form, he can deal some good damage to the Lord. He's getting some good damage in, but no free names, unable to finish him off. It actually is Ezreal getting the credit for the kill, but Blade Work has done all the work in the bottom lane, picks up a second kill of her own. Yeah, the minion wave blocking so many of the Ezreal Mystic shots and really just delaying that out so that he had to walk into nearly melee range with the Thresh to finish him off, and that gave Tristana all the time in the world to take that kill.
And Troublemaker there, while we were paying attention to the action in bot and top lane, actually faced a 2v1 with Reeves playing the gank and managed to survive. He didn't get any kills out of it, but he also didn't die, so that is something going for in the way of Out of Mana.
Hey, Froggy Bert, welcome to the stream. I appreciate that. Poggers indeed. We actually had Team Poggers play about 2 weeks back. If you check on the YouTube channel, there was one of those teams named Team Poggers, which is not something I usually do, is use names for names, but hey, why not? And this time, though, Team Crepes massively in the lead. 12 kills to 4, almost 3,000 gold in the lead. A 6-0 and 2 Tristana just decimating the game. Blade Work putting in really good stuff, but the Lord doing a really good job with all of these hooks as well. I mean, you cannot discount this Thresh having set up so many of the opportunities for Tristana to get these kills. The question is, can they keep it up towards the late game? Because the scaling of Ezreal is a little bit on the slower side, whereas Tristana's late game is just decimating. So I think even in late game, Crepes has a pretty decent advantage.
Yeah, Crepes is going to have that advantage as they scale up. If Ezreal can get an assassination, which here is not going to happen.
No, his ult will land onto Blade Work, put him a little bit low, but Straight Jacket in trouble. Lord Reeves coming for another gank. Why try to change something that ain't broke? as Straight Jacket is going to be slowed. Lord Reeves perfectly placing that barrel. Last Whisper Breath onto, it's not Last Whisper, it's Last Breath onto the Ziggs. He is able to satchel himself to safety for the moment, but he's burned the exhaust, he's burned the flash, he doesn't have anything. Troublemaker trying to dash through, but the collapse from Reeves is way too strong. Ezreal, no, Lee Sin wants the kill onto Blade Work. The knockback from the Tristana. Oh, the Sonic Wave also going to miss. This Lee Sin cannot catch a break, and now he is going to see that there is a Thresh around the corner. He tries to land it around the minion. Sonic Wave going to miss. He goes back in, follows onto the minion. The flash force out from Blade Work, realizes that he's got nothing left, and he's going to give his life over to Lord Reeves. But the flash has been burned on Tristana, which may make it a little bit easier to try to kill the now 8-0-3 Tristana. The snowball has been started, and it is now an abominable snowball.
Yeah, this snowball has been started at the top of Mount Everest and just keeps rolling down. And I don't know that there's really anything they can do at that point, as Straight Jacket uses his ult there. Or no, he did not. Okay.
Oh, there's the ultimate from Lord Reeves. The flay from Thresh, though, pulling no free names back in. Aatrox having teleported to the bottom lane to help out in this fight. Ocean Drake already over to Team Crepes. And Straight Jacket now in Zombie 4 trying to finish off the Lord, but not going to be able to clean it up. Troublemaker, the only one who's still alive, hitting the blast cone to safety, gets himself out for the moment as Lee Sin comes around the side. But there is a 1v5 Lee Sin. You do not want to engage in that. And the Yasuo keeps himself a little bit further ahead of the rest of his team. 3-1-0, but they're going to lose bot lane turret off of this.
They are, and it's not even going to be a close race here with the Ziggs and the Tristana there. Teemo is going to probably get top lane turret here in a moment. He has knocked that down below 1,000 health, so we are going to see top lane outer fall as well. So they are going to keep the turret score even if they did lose first turret gold.
So now on to the next neutral objective. The Rift Herald has been buffed, is a lot stronger when it engages and does that head slam onto turrets, able to deal a massive amount of damage without taking too much damage herself. However, it's a lot easier to kill as a champion if she is on your turret, just hitting that eye on her back. However, no team has really started rushing towards her, who is really strong for sieging the mid lane turrets, but instead they're looking for an engage on the top lane turret. Team Crepes pulling 4 members up there, and what am I talking about? They're going to pick up Shelly.
Herald, yep. They're on Shelly. Now, Callan is around the corner here, but he does not have vision. He's a little more worried about Supercell. Has no idea that there are 4 members of the enemy team right there next to him.
Yeah, needs to play safe. Supercell may be going down here. They're waiting for the passive to tick off. Lee Sin gonna go back in, proc it, so unable to wait for it. Does put Supercell low health, but with the Rift Herald, the rest of the team gonna clean up the Lee Sin, move into the top side, flashing forward. Oh, so close from Lord, but not quite enough to grab on Jinky Toast. No mana, though, having to back up. The Ziggs using the ultimate in the mid lane, tried to clear the minion wave, forcing Yasuo back, unable to take out that turret. And now with 4 members strong in the top lane, also spawning the Rift Herald. That's going to be Shelly slamming down, easily taking out the second tier turret, and maybe even going for an inhibitor.
Yeah, that's probably an inhibitor turret, unless out of mana can spawn in very quickly. Which Revive is no longer a summoner spell to my awareness.
Unless you're Karthus, who just gets a second life. But looks like Jinky Toast is trying to use the mushrooms to save the turret, but not going to be enough. The question is, can they save the inhibitor? Thresh landing another hook, guaranteeing a kill. In the meantime, the Yasuo was able to take out the Ziggs, but the mid lane turret for Crepes is still alive. And Shelly just barely finishes off the turret, the inhibitor, and that is going to be at the 17-minute mark, out of mana, losing the top lane inhibitor. Lee Sin, you do not want to Lee Syndrome that.
It's one of those, my mind is telling me no, my body is telling me yes.
My pointer finger is telling me yes.
He went with his mind that time, thankfully.
Don't face roll the keyboard. You might regret it. Lord Reeves clearing up this scuttle crab. I mean, there really isn't much else to talk about at this point besides Troublemaker being the one potential and only maybe saving grace for his team. 4-1, playing a pretty good job. But at this point, this 6-0 Aatrox and the 8-0 Tristana is going to make it a very tough game for him to carry the team on his back. I mean, even if you look at their full team engages, they don't really have anything that combos well. Whereas for Team Crepes, you've got Aatrox lining up a knockup with Gragas body slam knockup with Thresh hook, and Tristana and Ziggs pouring out damage from the back line.
Yeah, I mean, best bet that Mana has for this is if Cal can get in the back line and get an inset kick on that Tristana, force her into her team while going through the front line to get them knockups so the Troublemaker can get ult off on all three. That is basically their only hope in this right now. And even then, they will probably still lose that fight because Aatrox, Gragas, and Tristana are just so far ahead.
It looks like Crepes is going to be pushing down the mid lane. They do have 4 members here. Aatrox pushing to the side, and they are going to start this siege, which at this point in the game, the Tristana already being a level 11 now should be able to safely poke away, and layering on those grenades and satchel charges onto the turret will eventually take it out. You don't even need the Rift Herald, as it looks like Sion may be AFK in the base. I'm really not sure what Straight Jacket is doing.
Yeah, his items are moving around, so it looks like he's just taking some extra time to buy as we get the engage in mid lane.
Nice Thresh Flay pulling people back. Ziggs ultimate going to miss everyone, though, as they were able to dash their ways to safety, and they actually hold on to the mid lane turret, forcing the Tristana to back. They're able to get some good damage. Troublemaker doing most of it, and despite Lee Sin jumping, using the shield, he almost got hooked anyway. And it looks like the siege continues as Sion is headed towards the top lane to try to stop the super minions from moving in.
Oh, dear, there goes the Aatrox.
And Ezreal, no free names, may try to go chase in on this. Needs to be very safe. Lee Sin here as well, though. Nice auto attack sets the Aatrox up for failure, though, as Troublemaker needs to just land a little bit more damage, flashing in, guaranteeing the last hit, going to give himself a 5th kill of the game. But that leaves the mid lane turret free for kills, as Crepes should be able to pick this one up easy.
Well, that's what is Crepes doing there? 4 members strong in mid lane. The only member that's able to stand against them leaves to go take care of bot lane, and they just let that center mid tower stand for an extra second. They could have easily taken both outer and inner turret in mid lane at the cost of Aatrox's life. Instead, they only get the one, and they're going to pick up the Drake on the way out. But they still could have gotten a lot more out of that, in my opinion.
So, making good moves, maybe not making the best moves. Lee Sin, Kowloon trying to run away. The Flay has already been used, the hook, Death Sentence has already been used, so no fear of that. But there is still the Baron live on the map. Potential for the team to try to pick up for Crepes to continue their 5,000 gold lead and just keep growing it. Oh, nice knockout with the ultimate as well. Tristana going to be falling. Lee Sin getting the shutdown on that. Troublemaker is just a monster, picking up his own next kill onto the Ziggs. Lee Sin kicking Lord Reed's back. This is the fight that Out of Mana wants. Ezreal sniping away. Gragas shut down gold for several members of Out of Mana, and they feel a lot more confident. And don't forget that in the meantime, Sion is literally free farming all of these minions that are continuing to push in. That's an entire lane that Crepes doesn't get any farm in because it's constantly pushing in, and Sion just gets to sit there and farm it.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a surprising fight. With Sion absent from that, they managed to take down 3 members with not really any repercussions across the map.
Yeah, so nice play there. Now, they weren't able to make any huge objective gains from that other than the middle turret by Crepes falling, but they were able to secure a little bit of vision towards the river. No vision on the Baron, I don't believe. Let me actually double check that real quick. Yeah, no vision on the Baron, but they do at least have some vision in case Crepes tried to walk through the bush headed towards the Baron, and it looks like they will be able to see that now.
Pathing that they went. Now, Reeves does pop his sweeper and force it out, but they do still know that they're in that area somewhere. So they safely bet that this Baron is going to be getting started up here in just a moment.
So I think that it was, 600 IQ, that they didn't place any ward inside the pit because they were just going to drop a control ward by Crepes. Now, it's still early on in the game, so that Baron does pretty good damage and is not dropping very quickly. It was down to about 6,000 and continuing to drop slowly. No free names trying to poke as much as possible, but they don't really have any vision. Teemo over the wall trying to get ready to throw something. Ezreal just going to miss. The Mushroom trying to get the most vision as possible. But looks like Baron not easily, but able to be picked up by Team Crepes. Just continues to grow their advantage, and everyone able to get out alive, as Out of Mana unable to get there in time.
They are unable to get there in time. Their inhibitor in top lane has respawned, so they did weather that storm. Now the question is, how are they going to stand up against this Baron-empowered team from Team Crepes coming in, especially with the massive siege potential of a Ziggs and a Tristana. Tristana poking down that tower, crushing its health, and Ziggs going for the finish off with that satchel charge. Let's see what they plan to do here.
Yeah,
if they can get another fight like that one in mid lane, that would go a long way towards continuing to claw their way back into this game. They're only 3k gold down right now, which they should be down a lot more.
The thing to keep in mind as well, besides the Aatrox, most of the damage is going to be on that Ziggs and Tristana. So if they can separate those two and take one out, the fight could very well go in the favor of Out of Mana. But they need to be vigilant on where it is that they engage and on who it is that they engage. Can they get that Yasuo to the back line? Can Sion, I mean, he hasn't used his ult once this game because he's been on tower babysitting duty, protecting the top lane inhibitor, waiting for it to respawn. So maybe now his ultimate, which it can be incredibly powerful and potent in team fights, can come online. He can actually use that to catch people out. We'll see if they manage to do that. The hook does land on, I think it was just a chicken, one of those raptors. I was curious for a second because Lee Sin was around the corner, but...
Yeah, I think it actually hit Callan. It looked like Callan was getting tugged a little bit there against the wall.
But the Lord thinks twice about going in. He does pull the Dark Passage forward. Death Sentence not going to land, but we've seen him land so many of them. It's actually a rarity when he doesn't. Straight Jacket potentially looking at going in. He is going to get hooked forward. Is he just going to pull the... There he is.
Here's that ult.
Using the end Lee Sin here as well. Immediately, too, into the last breath. Ziggs is gone. It's all about the Tristana. Now, can they take her out? Aatrox onto Jikitos in the meantime. His passive has been spawned, but he is going to be able to free hit that bottom lane turret. But 4 members pushing through the mid lane. Looks like 2 are going to back off. Nope, 1 is going to back off and head to try to stop Aatrox, as the rest of the 3 are going to charge down. And finally, the Sion ultimate unlocked wins Out of Mana a team fight.
Exactly, and that's exactly what they needed to have a chance here. As Troublemaker flashes in, he does not get the last hit. So that is going to be probably, well, no, they're not even going to get the inner turret there. Tristana managed to clean up just enough of the minions to get away with that.
Yeah, even Lee Sin, Kowloon was able to actually land the Sonic Wave, but wasn't in range to finish the other half of it, and probably wisely thought twice about it as well, and so they do back out. One of the fascinating things is that 21 kills to 12. Crepes is massively in the lead on kills, but only about 3,000 gold in the lead, and most of that is due to the Baron that they were able to pick up earlier in the game. Now, it is another Drake spawning. It's going to be a second Ocean Drake this game around, which would give Crepes an even more advantage in those extended team fights if they were able to pick it up. However, it looks like with 4 members, they're going to be pushing towards that mid lane, wanting to restart that siege on the mid lane second tier turret before their Baron wears off, which doesn't have much left to it. In fact, it actually just wore off.
As that fight does disengage, something I want to make note of, Aatrox split push in the top lane, has his teleport up, and put a ward down next to the destroyed inhibitor turret in bot lane, which he was not able to capture that inhibitor. So that is an objective that he was not able to finish off.
Oh, Yasuo probably in trouble. Throws to the wind wall, blocking a lot of damage, trying to escape. Nice dodge. He hits 2 with the ultimate, but knows in the end he's still going to fall while the rest of his team tries to stop the Aatrox from the split push. Nice little knock up there. Straight Jacket immediately into ultimate, but the Sonic Wave from the Lee Sin is missed. Now no free names. The only one they're finally going to be able to take him out. It's the poison, I believe. Yeah, just the poison from Jikitos finishes him off, but the second tier turret is taken down. Out of Mana, just continuing to lose turrets and structures left and right no matter what they do.
And it looks like we're going to have Crepes on that Ocean Drake you were talking about for those extended sieges. So that's going to be double Ocean on them, along with that Cloud Drake they got. And let's see what spawns here next. Looks like we're going to get one more Elemental Drake before we get an Elder.
Watch for just a second and see what it may or may not shift into, because it might be another Ocean Drake.
Yep, it is going to be another Ocean Drake. So 3 Oceans and a Cloud this game, what we're going to get for Elementals.
The RNG really loves its triples this tonight, which is cool with me. I mean, the triple Infernals last game was pretty darn awesome. But what I love about this so far, though, is Team Crepes was so massively in the lead early game. I mean, you're talking like 12 kills to 1 the Out of Mana had on that Yasuo. And it would have been a game that was so easy to get tilted in, so easy to just throw your hands in the air, give up, say, that's it, it's not worth playing anymore, I'm done. We've already lost this, we're 12 kills down, we're 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 gold in the hole, let's just call it quits. But instead, Out of Mana has continued to fight it. They lost an inhibitor at the 17-minute mark on the top side of the map, but they didn't give up. They set the Scion up there. They gave him a pretty good amount of farm so he could start to get tanky, to be of use in the team fights, and they are continuing to hold on. Sure, they're losing structures. Sure, they're still going down in gold, but they have not given up yet. And that's the type of attitude you need when you're going into ranked games, because you do not want to give up a ranked game, no matter how bad it looks, because you're just going to lose that LP that everyone desperately wants.
Absolutely, and it really helps in the situation when you've got a member that has a good early game like Troublemaker did. The rest of the team may be tilting, but if Troublemaker goes, look, I'm blah, 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 I've got this advantage that we can exploit. If they're able to use it, get it.
Yeah, Lee Sin wisely checking with that Sonic Wave. Beautiful, beautiful check. It keeps him safe. Even the engage from the Gragas ultimate just knocks members back. Doesn't do much to try to catch anybody out. Now, Stray Jacket may have been caught out. Does get down to about half health and slowed, but the Ezreal poking away. Doing good job slowly forcing Crepes back in that top lane as Lord Reeves going to move in. Try to clear a ward, but Jinky Toast with those blinds making it a little bit difficult. But all of the members of Out of Mana trying to hold desperately onto top and this jungle, as it is going to finally fall. The inhibitor falls, but they've dealt with this before. They can deal with it again.
Yeah, they've dealt with it before, and they've got, all the members of Crepes seem to be backing off here. It looks like they're going to go ahead and retreat. Let their two lords heal up and reset back, probably to clean up the mid wave and push bot lane out.
Now, they may actually not back. They could go straight onto Baron as it has spawned up. They are going to at least get the Scuttle Crab, but they may decide, because they are a little bit on the lower health, not to go straight onto the Baron. Ping's there for Lee Sin to go ahead and ward the Baron, so they will do a good job of kind of keeping an eye on that. Which is crucially important because Crepes could be on the Baron, and with the double Ocean Drakes, they were starting to heal back up, even though members had been taken fairly low. One of the things I liked about... Oh, hold on, this is very interesting.
Yeah, they're going for it. Reeves is still here. They didn't have vision of the rest of the team backing.
Yeah, Lord Reeves hanging around after the Gromp. Jinky Toast trying to push him away. The teleport in from the Aatrox, though. Can Supercell get in? The CC is down. No free names over the wall. Throws out the ultimate, and they're going to miss. The ultimate there from Ziggs is just going to decimate, and that's going to be nearly an ace, but the Baron is still not dead yet. Can no free names or anybody finish it off? Ziggs is the one who finally takes it down. That's so unfortunate. No! Sion got it! Sion got it! It's zombie form Sion! Picks it up, Straight Jacket from zombie form, cleans up the Baron, steals it away for his team despite them losing 3. It is all up to No Free Names and the Teemo to try to hold on. The Ezreal's already been taken out. It's all up to Teemo now. Jinky Toast needs to get back to defend the Nexus turret. And in the meantime, they were able to pick up, I believe, 3 in that fight as well. So this game is not over yet.
No, they actually, with Straight Jacket managing to secure that dragon as he goes into zombie form, secure the Baron as he goes into zombie form, they've actually got a decent shot to at least hold through this inhibitor. This inhibitor being down in top lane is their primary concern right now. Bot lane wave is stacking up, but it looks like Lee Sin is going to take care of that. And with them having a little bit of Baron-empowered minions in that top lane to fight against the super minion coming in from the inhibitor being down, that looks like something they can at least, like I said, like what they did earlier, they can set Sion up there, let him take care of it. He's not going to have the Baron-empowered minions. Only Jinky Toast will be able to take advantage of those for now, since they lost 4 members in the fight afterwards.
So, beautiful job from that Sion, stealing away the Baron while everyone else was distracted. I mean, Reeves was still alive, I believe, and could have tried to get in and smite it, but In the meantime, though, Crepes pushing towards the bottom tier turret. The turret is gone. It is all about that inhibitor. They were able to take out that top inhibitor. Now they want the bottom one because it is still free and open. But crucially, the mid lane turret stands strong for Out of Mana. Sion now starting to get ridiculously tanky. Has Locket of Iron Solari as well as that Randuin's Omen. So if Tristana starts to auto attack away, not going to be able to do much. The Thresh going to be hit, knocked up as well as ulted. However, flashing to keep himself alive for the moment here. He's going to fall straight. Jacket starting to engage. Misses out on the knockup. But Fort Poons using the Satchel to try to disengage. Doesn't matter. Sion's got the number of the Tristana. Going for the double stun knockup. Lee Sin there as well. Ziggs has already been finished off. Bladework now trying to hop in, but the stop from Straight Jacket. Sion doing what he can to tank this up. Flashes away, trying to just hold on, but the rest of the team isn't there. They're defending the middle and turrets, sorry, the Nexus turrets, and it looks like Lee Sin is able to escape. Straight Jacket sacrificing his life just to give the Lee Sin his chance to get out. That was kind of sounded like William Shatner there. Sorry.
2 for 2 on the fight there. Lee Sin does manage to make it back to base on time, back to base without dying there. And we're looking at here, Trouble might be able to win this out.
Yeah, Troublemaker is pretty strong, but he's 1v1ing the strongest member of the enemy team. Can the Aatrox survive? That is the question.
No.
And looks like he will not be able to make it out. Aatrox just a bit too strong. And apparently I can change the camera while I'm trying to do other things. There we go, resetting it. Sorry, guys.
Oh, looks like my frame got stuck.
Your frame got... What? How have you gotten frozen?
I don't know. My camera frame got stuck. I just happened to look over at chat, and they're saying Salic 2.0. Is my voice pixelating on you guys?
Every now and then it does go pixelated, and you sound a little bit like a robot, which is kind of cool. It's Salic Terminator coming in. But
right.
you are eating them. You could try to turn off the webcam and restart it. We can see if that works. I'm not really sure what all goes down. But Janabot, well, NA, welcome back to the stream. I know it's been a while since you've been on, but appreciate you coming back to hang out with us. 63,000 gold on Team Crepes versus 61,000 Out of Mana. Only a 2,000 gold difference. And we're getting to a point in the game where gold doesn't matter quite so much. 3 to 4 items on every champion at this point in the game. I mean, you're looking at the Tristana, 4 items, Static Shiv, Rapid Fire, Infinity Edge, BF Sword. On the Ezreal side of things, he's got that Man Immune finish, Bloodthirster, and Trinity Force. I mean, some of the most expensive items in the game picked up by these players. So it all comes down to mechanical skill and how they play as a team. Straight Jacket having done a great job so far with some of these engages, guaranteeing kills for the members of this team. They can actually dash in Troublemaker and the Lee Sin, though he is going to proc the Grima's Ghost Blade, so it's unavailable for the next couple of seconds. But Out of Mana
Reeves
forcing off Crepes. Yeah, Lord Reeves is pretty out of position. But he's building a chase going on as Aatrox is moving down the mid lane. There's the Unstoppable from the Scion headed down the mid lane to keep himself safe. Aatrox moving in, looking for the inhibitor. But in the meantime, Lee Sin onto the Gragas, trying to defend, stop the Gragas from being able to back safely. Aatrox now 1v3. Can he do it? He does have his ultimate available, his passive available, so it will be started up. But in the meantime, the turret in the mid lane is going to fall. Damage down, no free names lives. And now the inhibitor, though, Tristana spamming away. Bladework doing a good job as the main 2 damage dealers of Lee Sin and Yasuo weren't around for the fight. Inhibitor's gone on all levels except for the top that has respawned. Lee Sin engaging the Lord of Dongs, trying to escape, trying to... Oh, there is the cop with the tornado immediately into the death sentence from Lord. Keeps the ultimate from doing all of its damage, but Tristana is already gone. This is the one opportunity that Out of Mana actually has to try to ace the enemy team. They're only going to get 4 as Ziggs looks like he has been able to escape, but it's a minute on Baron.
Yep, a minute left on Baron. You've got not long on Reeves and Supercell. Bladework and Lord, though, are down to 30-second death timers, so they are going to be able to make it back to the Baron if Red Team does start it off right at the bat. Jinkitos managing to guide this massive wave from top lane into the towers.
I think,
and that's the one wave they don't have super minions coming down against them. So that's the one lane they can really take advantage of and really push out effectively.
I like this, though. Not letting any time go to waste. They're going to pick up a second turret. As Aatrox going to miss his engage. Dark Wings not going to do a whole lot. However, trying to get some slows down. Troublemaker may be in trouble. He's got no one to dash to. Lee Sin trying to keep himself safe. They're going in onto the Ziggs. He finally gets it, as well as use a, I'm not even sure, broken stopwatch. And looks like he was able to escape Tristana, though, starting those resets. Picked up 2. Moving on to the Ezreal with the Thresh hook as well. Beautiful play. Flashes forward to get the hook. Blade work. Now jumping onto the Scion. However, he's going to charge himself, so she will not have the immediate jump resets. But the Gragas heads towards the bottom side. They want to finish it off. Team Crepes now moving in 4v2. As only the Ziggs is down. They've got super minions pushing in the bottom side and the mid side. Okay, Straight Jacket is going to fall, but Brain was stuck for a second as Lord Reeves is the one bringing the minions down through the mid lane. And it looks like Team Crepes, with a beautiful final play, catching people out and getting Tristana on the resets, despite Jinky Toes taking out the Aatrox, is going to be able to finish off this game. They've taken out one Nexus turret. Tristana hopping onto the second one, taking that one out as well. Only the Lee Sin alive to try to defend. Nice kick, gets double, slows the Thresh, who's the only one auto-attacking away on the turrets. Yasuo up as well, though. Maybe the game isn't over. I spoke too soon.
There's a knockback. No, game isn't quite over yet, but there are 3 inhibitors down. Troublemaker, I don't know what he's doing up here. He's 1v4 right now, getting pings all over him from his teammates. Doesn't quite get any but kills there. But
Stops
that's
their
2
backs.
super minions coming down every single wave, every single time, and the Baron is live.
It is available, however, Crepes not feeling too comfortable on it, have decided they are going to back off and get healed up before heading back, and probably to pick up that Baron and push in one more time to finish it off. But you gotta give credit over to the Out of Mana team, because they have done an incredible job holding on. They have literally nothing in the base besides their Nexus. That is it. And yet they are still fighting. They're still in the game. They are not ready to give this one up.
Well, unfortunately, they do have 2 things besides their Nexus in the base. A ward of theirs and a ward of their enemy right next to the Nexus. Fortunately, Supercell's teleport is down, so they won't be able to capitalize on that, as that ward did just dissipate.
But it could have been bad.
It could have been done. It could have been a really funny backdoor finish, but it was not meant to be.
Not meant to be, but it is going to be them picking up the Elder Drake. Crepes just continuing to stack up their advantages, and with Out of Mana not being willing to try to fight, especially an Elder Drake up team, they should be able to pick up the Baron pretty easily at this point. And with that, it's just going to be one more push, 5-man straight down the middle, super minions, Baron up, Elder Drake power as well, could give the entire thing over to Team Crepes. It's all going to be up to maybe a steal from the Lee Sin, but I don't know that that's even possible at this point.
We're going to see. No, not quite.
It was a good try.
It was a good try.
Blast Cone over, like the little shield hop as well, so he didn't have to burn Flash. Actually, it was on cooldown, so he couldn't have burned it anyway, but was able to get him out. Guardian's Angel on both himself and the Yasuo. The fight way outside of the base. Scion starts to charge back to the base, but is going to fall. So all you're going to get is the zombie mode, dealing some damage to Aatrox. In the meantime, Lord Reeves engaging onto the Ezreal, forcing him to back up. But with inhibitor spawned in the mid lane, super minions onto the Nexus already. This game going to be over in just a matter of seconds. It's all up to Troublemaker. What can he do? Throws out the tornado, doesn't go in for the ultimate. He tries to dash in, get some damage down, dashes through the ultimate, or not the ultimate. The Guardian's Angel has been procced. He's resurrected very low health, but immediately body slam from the Gragas. Lord Reeves guarantees the kill. The spam of emotes as the game finishes off, and Team Crepes holding on to their advantages, eventually take it all the way into a victory.
Excuse me. Yes, a wonderful job by Crepes holding on. They did, I will say this, prior to that last, kind of that last real big fight where Troublemaker overstayed right in front of the right in front of the inhibitor turret, Out of Mana actually did have a gold lead of about 400 gold. So they managed to pull it back. Great job by both teams, really. Crepes did a good job of using their advantages but so did Out of Mana, taking what advantage they did with Troublemaker and building around him and using him to at least slingshot themselves into a chance at this game.
Okay, wow. So I definitely heard everything that you said, but not only was your robot in full force, but now your camera's working again. I'm not even... Okay, well, kind of. It's kind of freezing up for a moment. We could try to reset the call completely, or because the camera's working again, we could just let go. We could just let it be.
Let me go ahead and try resetting it. We'll just see what happens.
Okay, let's end the call, and we'll be right back. Yep. All right, so in the meantime, we do have the stats in, ladies and gentlemen, and what a crazy, crazy game, especially from Out of Mana, holding on so incredibly strong. We are going to roll through the MVPs and honorable mentions, and it looks like Salek is back, cleaned up, ready to rock and roll. So with that, Salek, give it to us, the losing team, MVPs and honorable mentions. What do you think?
Losing team MVP, gotta give it to Troublemaker. He did a fantastic job in the mid lane, making sure to hold on to his advantages. I will say my only nitpick at Troublemaker's play this game was that he definitely threw away the comeback. To be honest, he overstayed in the mid lane in that last fight, and he was the start of that chain where Tristana was able to just jump from person to person, getting kills, getting the resets, and carrying it all the way back to the inhibitors and the Nexus towers falling prior to the Elder Dragon and the Baron falling. But I do have to give it to Troublemaker. He did a fantastic job. Honorable mention, I don't want to, but I'm going to give it to Jinky. I want to give it to Jinky Toast. I don't want to, but I want to. Jinky Toast did a good job after getting kind of honestly smashed by the Aatrox in the early game. Jinky Toast did a good job supporting the team, coming back a little bit, and, you know, supporting what Troublemaker was trying to do. Making sure that the auto attacks from Tristana weren't coming through with the blinds and everything. What are your thoughts?
I would agree. Give me just a second as I am typing to the chat. There we go. One of the great things that Jinky Toast did was basically be a big nuisance. And that's really what a Teemo, if they're doing it right, does. One of the things I loved most was several times that the Team Crepes was trying to leave Out of Mana's base. They got their advantages, they got an inhibitor, or they got a turret, they felt pretty good, they started to back. Jinky Toast was running around the jungle, just throwing mushrooms in front of people. And it was, you know, slowing one person, exploding, getting a little bit of damage. That was dealing damage to somebody else, stopping this person's back, stopping that person's back. Never killed anybody, but definitely was an annoyance, stopping people from recalling. And in being able to do that, allowed Out of Mana to have breathing time. That's the thing that kept him in the game most often, was there was such a large amount of time between when major team fights happened. The inhibitors could spawn, they could push waves out, they had a little bit of breathing room. And often that breathing room was built by Jinky Toast's mushroom jungling, or just being a nuisance and drawing people away from the team. So I definitely think Jinky Toast did a really good job. I'm going to give a shout out, though, to Straight Jacket for basically, despite dying 11 times, he was playing the only frontline tank for the team, and that's kind of ended up what you do. But using the time that he was spent solo farming under the inhibitor. I mean, talk about the most boring point of the game. You do no damage as a tank support Scion, sitting there just slowly auto-attacking minions, but instead use that time appropriately, built up some really good tank, and then in the mid game had some really nice engages. Now, late game, the enemy team was so strong he had to use those ults to get out of fights, but his initial mid game addition to team fights was ridiculously strong. 14 control words for Lord Reeves. All right, for the MVP for the winning team, I've got to give it over to... I am, despite... this is actually kind of tough now. Hold on a second. Because Lord did incredible work early game with those hooks. I mean, it was just mind-blowing how many hooks this Thresh was landing. However, late game, didn't land quite as many hooks. Wasn't as much of a team fight starter. And Blade Work had such good positioning in team fights. 2 deaths that whole game. But 15 kills... so you can't say that she didn't participate in team fights. So Blade Work did really, 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 really good work. But Such toughness. Everyone did so good. Yeah, I'm going to give MVP to Blade Work, and I think honorable mention to the Lord of Dongs. What are your thoughts, Salik?
I want to give honorable mention. I agree with Blade Work for MVP. Blade Work did a lot of good work jumping around, making sure she got the resets. I would give honorable mention, though, to Supercell. Supercell going into that lane against the Teemo and drawing so much pressure. There were multiple occasions where... Hello, sweetie. There were multiple occasions where...
You should say hi to her for me. I haven't talked to her in ages.
He says hi. She said, duh. All right. Supercell drawing so much pressure into whatever lane he was in, split pushing. There were multiple occasions where, because they had to send 2 or 3 people to deal with Supercell split push, that they had a 4v3 in whatever lane they were pushing, and that helped a lot towards pushing the advantages that they did have, because Supercell was one of the big advantages.